Hi, I'm Marshmallow. This was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing, but I wanted to sort of address a topic that I feel I should weigh in on. Maybe it's something to think about in light of the new year, I don't know. So, I'm sure we've all seen on various social media this sudden influx of people, usually teenagers, claiming that they have certain neurological or developmental disorders. Right now, I believe the most common claims are DID and BPD, that is, dissociative identity disorder and borderline personality disorder. More so DID, though, at least from what I've seen. However, before that, the most common thing to see younger folks claiming to have was Tourette syndrome. I mean, I still see people on TikTok and stuff claiming to have Tourette's quite often these days, but I think it was much more prevalent before. Regardless, that is what I'd like to touch on. So, amidst the sea of people managing to record themselves in the throes of a tic attack, actually pretty well, interestingly enough, you've probably also seen a video or two focusing on the opposite. That is to say, people who are having attacks so intense and severe that it inhibits basic function, and in one video that I've seen resulted in hospitalization, I believe due to exhaustion, but don't quote me exactly on that. Now, I don't want to show those videos for a few reasons. One being that the severe cases are not actually the point of this video. Another being that I don't really agree to the idea of recording someone while they go through such a, quite honestly, traumatizing event. I mean, of course, if they agreed to having a video like that released after the fact, then I guess I can't really argue with it, that's their choice. But I personally don't wish to spread that beyond the places that I've seen. Aside from all that, tics can be very impressionable, I guess is the word. And I don't want to inadvertently trigger tics in someone who might be watching this that also has a tic disorder. Regardless, those severe cases, that is a very real thing that can happen. There are people who have cases that severe, and it does serve as kind of a shock, you know, a very scary example of how bad this disorder can be. It's a pretty extreme way to show that, hey, this is not fun. Tourette's is not a fun, quirky thing that you want to have because that is what it can be like. It can be debilitating, it can be scary. Ultimately, however, I'd like to make this statement the point of this whole video. Please do not use those extreme examples as your point of reference when determining whether you think someone else's case is valid or not. I have seen countless people in comments saying things like, no, you don't have Tourette's, 'cause tics aren't cute. This is what Tourette's actually looks like. And then they link one of the videos that I was referring to. And yeah, that's an example, but that's one extreme case out of the thousands upon thousands of cases of varying severity. So when people use that as a way to kind of say, you know, gotcha, it kind of comes off as, I don't know if this is the right word, but elitist? Sorry, that's definitely not the right word, but you know, like gatekeeping, you know? And this bothers me in particular because that kind of thing immediately invalidates people who have very mild but very real cases of Tourette syndrome, myself included. So I feel like I should share a bit of background, and if you don't really care about this part and you just want to watch the rest of the video, you can skip to here. Also, in this next bit, I describe my own tics, so if you're like me and prone to mimicking others, you can skip there too. When I was a child, very young, you know, I was making peeps and moving my jaw around and stuff, and my mom was like, that's weird, but you know what? We can work with it. She already had one child who was diagnosed at the time with Asperger's, so she wasn't unfamiliar with caring for neurodivergent children. And then when I was about 6, she saw me doing this throat-hitting thing and was like, oh, that's actually kind of concerning. So she took me to a pediatric neurologist, and he was like,
yeah, I believe your daughter has Tourette syndrome.
I got put on medication for it, the side effects of which made me prone to massive fits of rage, and so we were like, okay, no more of that. We just said, you know, let's work with the hand we're given. And it took a lot of redirecting, talks with teachers, and a handful of therapy, but over the years I learned to deal with my condition in the least destructive manner possible. And now, at nearly 25 years old, my tics have significantly mellowed out, even though they were never really severe enough to give me anything more than a sore neck or throat for a day. Of course, tics fluctuate, so there are still days today where I'm lugging around a gallon jug of water because my throat's raw from, well, I'll call them peeps, I guess. Long story short, though, mine is a very mild case compared to most of the people with Tourette's that you see today. Some days it's so benign that I'd honestly have to point it out myself in order for someone to notice it. Not that I do that, because I don't know anyone who doesn't already know I have Tourette's. Regardless, for a very long time now, I've struggled with my feelings regarding the validity of my Tourette's diagnosis, because of people using extreme cases to call out those who are faking it. It kind of makes me feel like I don't have a right to even talk about it because I'm not struggling with it as much as some other people are. So the whole point I'm trying to make here is Tourette's does not just look like one thing. It's not like you don't truly have it if you're not ticking to the point of breaking your bones or passing out. Tourette's can look like someone sniffing occasionally while they sit still and read a book. It can look like someone walking on the sidewalk who got something in their eye or brushed a bug off their shirt. Mild cases of Tourette's are still cases of Tourette's. As an aside, this is all in regards to people who actually have Tourette syndrome, whether they're professionally diagnosed or may suspect that they have it but don't identify with it. The people who self-diagnose or outright lie about having Tourette's, that's a whole nother can of worms that honestly I really don't feel like opening today. Maybe I'll talk more about that another time if I have more free time and energy. But for now, I really just wanted to get this out there as a way to kind of combat the negativity and misinformation being spread, because more than anything, I hate when people spread misinformation about something that they really have no experience with, or next to no knowledge about. I don't like people speaking about Tourette's on the behalf of everyone who has it, any more than someone would like me, who has all my limbs, to speak on the behalf of everyone in the world who's missing some. If y'all want to hear me talk more about this kind of thing, or my personal experience with Tourette's, feel free to let me know. It'd be really nice to, show people real examples of what it's like. Maybe it could be a nice little refresher, who knows? Anyway, thank you for watching. See you later.